you feel paralyzed by fear.
Yeah.
That we really, it's so hard to have fun with high school, and high school is the best time to homeschool high school.
Yes. I wrote that in my notes as I was reading through the stuff you sent me. I'm like, these are the best years.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
And so when we fall into fear, we can take that to the Lord, and we can find other homeschooling sisters. So, you know, you've got a great Facebook community, and at Seven Sisters Homeschool, we have a Facebook community. There's a bunch of high school communities out there, the blue collar homeschools, and it's not hard to homeschool, and you can join the online communities or the in real life communities. And get lots of support. So the fear means to turn it over to God and find some friends.
Exactly. Yeah. And I found my fear and anxiety would start getting that wedge between my child and my relationship too. And when I found that my child was fighting with me, something was wrong, and it was because of me, not because of my child. But it was all generated because of the fear. They're not going to do enough. We're not doing enough, or, you know, and all of that. And it just starts to come out with how you speak to them, how you react to them not doing well. I mean, they're going to fail. I mean, we just have to realize that.
So. Well, and that's it. We do have pressure for performance. And you know, we want to make sure our kids succeed. You know, we don't want to do something wrong and mess up the rest of their lives. So it's part of our pressure to perform as homeschool moms, but also the pressure then we can put on our kids to, you got to do this right, kid. So, like, your whole life is determined by this. It's like, no, it's not. So.
Exactly. Yeah. That's some very good advice, because we can get so wrapped up in that performance thing, and especially I think it is for parents who have kids that struggle. We feel like we have to prove all the more that we're doing it okay. That our child, you know, because we're told by professionals that we can't do this, and yes, you can.
Well, yeah, and that is really hard when you get pressure from professionals who say, no, really, you need to send these kids to a real school so they get the real supports there. And that can be like guilt trip for us moms. But, you know, and sometimes that is what a kid needs, because there's not one right way to educate your kid. But so many times God has a special individualized plan for that teen. And even with special needs, you know, we have wisdom and we have resources available to us, but nobody knows our kids like we do.
Exactly.
And so homeschooling can be the most beautiful thing you can give a kid with extra needs.
That's you said it perfectly. Definitely. Yeah. And, you know, I found with my kids too, when I hit those blocks, I would, like you said, step back and pray. What are we doing? What do I not need to do? What do I need to change? And, you know, God would just like drop something in my lap about, you know, and something I hadn't even had to research. It was just came by and was like, oh, that's what we're supposed to do. And in the end, you know, you look at it now, years passed, see, that was exactly what we were supposed to do, because they needed that skill for what they're doing now. And I would have never known it. So
well, we always say mom's mind plans her way, but God directs their paths. And, you know, God knows what our kids needs. And you're right. You know, I can look at some of the unusual or off the wall things we did, and we go, oh, you know, that wasn't that important. And my grown kids will come back and say that was a formative moment for them.
Don't dismiss those. I think we do too often dismiss these, what we call non-academic things that we either do or our kids are involved in, and they end up being the most academic and stretching, growing times that our kids can have.